Hi, this is Craig and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. If you've been watching the channel, you know I'm about to embark on a 10,000 nautical mile sailing voyage from Cape Town, South Africa, across the South Atlantic, over the equator for the very first time, through the Caribbean, all the way to the United States. It is going to be epic, no doubt. A special shout out to my patrons that have been around since the beginning of the channel. Love you guys. I also have some sponsors for this voyage that made it possible for me to fly halfway around the world to go sailing. Thanks a ton. And when I said I went halfway around the world, I am not exaggerating. I left my beautiful wife back in Ottawa, Canada, wedged myself onto an economy airline for 26 hours where I clearly make an excellent pillow, and eventually landed in Cape Town, South Africa. I thought I had 2 days to explore South Africa before I had to get on this beautiful boat, the exquisite X5, and sail again almost all the way back halfway around the world to the United States. Now, if you've watched the previous episodes, you know what I did with my limited 2 days in Cape Town. I had 2 factory tours booked. First with Phoenix Marine, which builds the exquisite X5. That's the boat I'm going to cross the ocean on. And that was an amazing tour, so go check that episode out if you haven't already. And then with my other day, I had booked a factory tour with Maverick Yachts, which is a slightly smaller catamaran, but possibly more in the price range of what Janice and I can afford. And that was also very impressive. And that Maverick tour was the last episode, so if you haven't seen that, you can go back and check that one out as well. Now, in between those 2 tours, I thought I had time for one touristy thing, and that was to go to the top of Tabletop Mountain and look down at Cape Town, which was very cool. But unbeknownst to me at the time, I was going to be stuck in Cape Town 10 additional days. So no worries about not being able to be a tourist. I got to do a ton of things for those days, and that's what this episode's going to be. So whether you came to Cape Town to pick up your brand new catamaran and you just got stuck here accidentally, or you sailed here on purpose and want to check out Cape Town, or for those non-boaters, you flew here and want to be a tourist, this episode is going to show you a whole bunch of things we did in and around the Cape Town area that were very cool. So stay tuned.
We anchor and hoist the sail.
Okay, the number one thing you're going to need, especially if you're a boater, is you're going to need a spot to put your boat while you're checking out beautiful Cape Town. I highly suggest the A Waterfront. It is right in the hub of everything. You get Table Mountain right in plain view. Although realistically, Table Mountain is so big that pretty much anywhere you are in Cape Town you can see Table Mountain, so there you go. But it's so tall that it actually creates its own weather pattern. This time lapse kind of shows that the mountain in the background is almost always obscured in cloud. Occasionally it will be clear and you can see it, but it's not very often. The best thing about the A Waterfront, especially if you're a boater, is that you're just steps away from restaurants, bars, and more shopping than you would know what to do with. It's also a very secure area. There's lots of what's called V&A security guards walking around in these blue uniforms. Makes you feel very safe, especially when you're like me and you're walking around with expensive camera gear on gimbals. At no time did I feel at all unsafe. I know if you've read or watched the news lately, parts of South Africa can be pretty sketchy, but at no time in Cape Town, or especially in the A Waterfront area of Cape Town, did I ever feel unsafe. And as a police officer, I kind of get that innate feeling when I'm kind of in a bad situation, and at no time did it ever feel that way. So there you go. So clearly there's an absolute ton of shopping, both indoor or outdoor. Yeah, too much for me to show. Now, other than that, there are tons of restaurants and bars in every price range imaginable. I'll show you the inexpensive place that I almost went to every single day because I am a frugal cruiser. Gotta stretch those dollars as far as they can go. I think I must have eaten in this food market at least once every day I was in Cape Town. I didn't even know what Tunisian food was coming from Canada. I got this thing called a laftka, and it had springbok in it. That's an animal I never heard of as well. And I even tried one with ostrich one day. Very tasty. I think I ate one of those almost every day. I also got a fruit smoothie in here almost every day. Super inexpensive compared to the sit-down restaurants that some of my crew members tended to go to. I was on a slightly smaller budget, so I love this place. Anyways, if you have a bigger budget, there are definitely some fine dining places you can also check out. If you are into street musicians or street music, there was plenty of that as well. Now, I know you couldn't have possibly missed this Ferris wheel in the background, and you probably wonder, did I ride it? And the answer is, of course I did, because I'm a child in a man's body. I paid, I think, $15, anyway, somewhere around that, to ride the Ferris wheel for a little while. It was fun. Now, the next thing you definitely have to do is get a friend or rent a car and do a driving tour down the coast from Cape Town south to Cape Hope. Our friend Clinton from Phoenix Marine was nice enough to take us out for the entire day in his car, and this is why I'm going to count it as a point all on its own. Drive this coastline and it is just mesmerizing and beautiful. So even if you never stopped your car or ever got out, it is an event all on its own. The mountains and the views of the ocean just keep changing mile after mile.
That's pretty like medieval in a way.
Yeah, those big, huge chain fences to stop the rocks from killing people.
More of that kind of stuff.
Girlfriend. Oh. You think we are kidding, but we are not. This highway along this cliff has actually had people die from getting hit by boulders coming down, so they now put these retaining fences there to stop that sort of thing. Well, at least to minimize it. But the road winds along the coast, along these cliffs, through mountains. It is just something to behold. So that is the number one thing you do when you leave Cape Town in a car, is just enjoy the beauty around you. Palm trees in the middle and the kind of the South Beach vibe. Now, if you had blindfolded me and then just taken off my blindfold here, I would have thought I was in Miami and South Beach or somewhere similar to that, but it's actually just outside of Cape Town. I believe this area is called Long Beach, and the sand off to the right is just that beautiful golden sand. Now, unfortunately, we're visiting this area in wintertime, so it wasn't exactly like the temperature or the water temperature for sure that you'd want to go running into the ocean in your bathing suit, but I could see in the summertime this would be an awesome spot to stop your car and go for a walk. Now, if you keep driving down the highway, you'll get to a place called Hart's Bay. There's a Mariner's Wharf there where there's obviously seafood restaurants and whatnot. You can even hug a seal if that's what you're into. It was kind of cute, although they are a bit greasy, just giving you a heads up. Now, if you think the view down here at Mariner's Wharf in amongst all these mountains is a cool look, and it is, check out later when we drive up in those mountains and look back down at Hart's Bay from the top. That was epic. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. It's getting a bit windy. We're supposed to have a big storm tonight. Lots of rain. Everybody around here is telling us that. This is Mariner's Wharf behind us. We're in Hart's Bay. Let me just show you the views. I mean, if it was sunny, it would be better, but check out the mountains behind us. And of course, the nice golden beach. So yeah, this road tour of the loop has been very impressive. Lots to see. Again, limited time to be a tourist, so I can't pick my weather. I would love if it wasn't so cloudy and windy, but still, you can tell the beauty. Definitely tell the beauty around here. And I definitely have to bring Janice back one day to Cape Town because I've been very, very impressed. Now, we followed the road around to the other side of Hart's Bay. We're looking back at Hart's Bay behind us. The guy to my right in gray is Clinton. He's the guy who nicely took us out driving all day. Thank you, Clinton. And yeah, I'll turn the microphone on just so you see how loud the wind is. You can't make out barely anything we're saying. Windy as hell, but what a view. Have I mentioned it's wintertime here? Yeah, it would have been way nicer to not be bundled up. Now, the next must-see stop is Cape Hope, which is the most southwestern part of Africa. It's also called Cape Fear because around here the storms are so violent that it really, really can be tough to sail. And as you can tell from Neil, it is still really windy out here. So after you leave the parking lot where the sign is, you have a long hike up to the top of this mountain to get a proper look out at Cape Hope. No, that's okay, guys. You run ahead. I'll carry all the camera equipment. At some points it gets a bit sketchy where you're stepping over boulders and stuff and trying to not fall to your death. Here I am at the Cape of Good Hope. Windy as hell out here. Now, just around the corner is another spot called Cape Point. Again, it's going to be quite the hike up to the top of this hill with a bunch of places for you to rest and check out the beach down below. And when you make it to the top, you get to check out this really cool lighthouse. The next must-see spot is, of course, Boulder Beach, where you can check out the Cape Town or South African penguins. Now, they charge you admission to get down to the beach to get up close and personal, so you think you need to do that, but you actually don't, because there's a boardwalk that's parallel to the beach, and there are tons and tons of penguins that are coming right up to the boardwalk. Now, these penguins seemed really, really cute, but then Clinton told us they're called jackass penguins, and I was wondering why, till I heard this. Now, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a mating call, but if so, he's got to work on that. That is horrible sounding. Now, on a completely different day, and of course a much sunnier and warmer day, we did another thing that we really enjoyed in Cape Town, and that's going wine tasting. Tomas drove us to 3 different wineries, this one being the very first, and probably our favorite in terms of enjoyability. Now, what could you not like about a winery that has a sign like this? I mean, come on, that makes me laugh already. And then we liked that they had wine bottles that were man-sized. Sean was just saying we should get one for the boat, for the passage. Yeah, we may not get a lot of sailing done. That we really liked Lurie, who we met at this winery, because she had spunk. When we asked if we could just drink 4 glasses of wine instead of 6, she said,
Hi there, my name is Lurie here at Dimmersdal, and no, you cannot try 4 wines, you have to try 6.
And of course, with that cool South African accent, we would let her explain just about any of the wines she wanted to tell us about. Maybe more than once.
Can I go ahead and pitch the gentleman?
Yeah, sure.
So with our Pinotage Reserve on the farm, like I mentioned earlier, we are known for Sauvignon Blanc and then also Pinotage, mostly because of the region that we are in. So it tends to take...
No sooner does she finish telling us about this wine than Steve comes back from the washroom and feels like he missed out and asks if she would say it again. And she nails it perfectly.
So naturally they are younger, they're far more vibrant, and then that just brings in beautiful balance into the Pinotage Reserve. And so you get a lot of that spice, but it also beautifully full-bodied and smooth, ripe tannins. Okay, enjoy.
Thank you. You did that. You did that exactly. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't stay there all day. We had our 6 wines that we tasted and our meat and cheese, but then we had to move on because we had 2 more wineries to go to. I know, rough life, eh? But somebody has to do it. Look at this view going into the second vineyard. Wow. Now, this next winery was not nearly as entertaining, but it did serve wine paired with chocolate. And I do love me some chocolate. Second photographic evidence. Wine tasting is paired with chocolate, and they even have the names of each one. Although it wasn't as entertaining, we did find the second place that served their wine with chocolate actually had the best tasting wine. The guys actually bought a few bottles of that. And then we went to a third place that had a really nice property to walk around on, but we found the wine the least favorite of the 3. So this is the reason you go to 3 different wineries, because one of them's definitely going to knock the ball out of the park and the other 2, might be okay. Now, the second last thing on our list of things you can't miss when you're in Cape Town, well, is to go outside of Cape Town by quite a ways and go on a safari. This was something we left about 6 in the morning through a shuttle bus to get to the safari. And I shot and filmed a lot, and I will show you that, but I just want to let you know that even the trip there was kind of epic. We stopped at this lookout and almost got blown right off a hill. Good morning, people, and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. Today we got up super early and got picked up by this van right here. We're going to go on a safari. It's a 3-hour drive from the Cape Town to Inverness, something like that, where this safari is. You can hear it we're next to a highway. It was the craziest drive. We've been going through these tiny mountain passes. I'll just show you, we're at a rest stop right now. Check out these mountains. Now, this highway we're beside is easy to drive on compared to the tiny little windy roads where barely 2 vehicles get by each other, and then there's like a huge drop off. I was kind of in the back of the van, so I didn't get the greatest footage, but you'll just have to trust me, it was crazy. Well worth the trip. I didn't even know we were paying for a scenic drive. I just thought we were paying for a safari, but now we're at this rest stop right here. This tiny little place is where we're stopping for coffee and whatever snacks we want. Just thought I'd let you know what we're up to today, so stay tuned. Then we stopped for breakfast at this kind of little hole-in-the-wall place that didn't even have electricity at the time. They were cooking over fire to make our breakfast, which was very unique. But then I saw this sign and I kind of wondered if the rest of my crew had sabotaged it. You be the judge. You guys do that? All right, gang, we are here at Inverdoon. I think I called it Inverness before. Inverdoon is the game reserve. Very nice facilities. Place to eat. Really nice bathrooms. So you can actually sleep here and have a 2-day thing. We found out we are going to do a safari in an open Jeep until just after lunch. Then we're gonna have lunch here. Then we drive back the 3 hours back to Cape Town. So should be Should be pretty cool. We've already seen some wildlife just walking around nearby here too. You're feeding your face?
Wildlife.
There's some right there. You can tell he's from California, North Carolina. Look at you, look like you're really, really cold.
I'm good.
You're good?
Right now?
It's actually, it is brisk.
It's the wind.
It is brisk out here. It is there almost winter, so. Okay, me being from Canada, the other two are from the United States and one's from Britain, so I'm the only one who was used to the cold. Look at them in the back. I can't help but laugh. Bundled up like Nanook of the North. But yeah, we were in an open Jeep, so be prepared. If you come in wintertime, it can be a little on the brisk side, but it really wasn't so bad. Let's just suffice to say we could do a whole episode on the safari. We saw lions, we saw rhinoceroses, we saw wildebeest, we saw elephants, we saw hippos, we saw every kind of four-legged antlered animal you could imagine. So yeah, there was a lot to cover in this, but we won't do that now. It was something to experience. Is this the best safari you could get in South Africa? Probably not, but it was the one that we knew of that was relatively close to Cape Town. So there you go. Jeez. Will it peck you or anything? Or?
Sometimes.
Oh, that's funny.
That in front is the oryx.
Oryx.
Yeah. They're mainly found in your more desert-like regions in southern Africa.
And the final thing that I think you must do when you come to Cape Town is, of course, go to the top of Table Mountain. Now, this is the thing that's actually closest to our boat. I'm saving it to last because it's just one of those things. If you're already in Cape Town, why wouldn't you do it? You pay to go up on this gondola. The gondola actually turns as you go up and you get a panoramic view. Now, when we left our boat to go to Tabletop Mountain, it actually was clear, but of course by the time we drove to the bottom of the gondola and got on, the mountain had clouded over again. This seems to be a common thing. That high up, it just creates its own clouds, so you gotta live with it. You can see it here as you're going up the gondola. All of a sudden, there comes the clouds, there goes the city. Yep, it will clear, just gotta give it some time. Looking down on Cape Town is still pretty cool, even if there is a little bit of cloud blowing through every once in a while. If you wait 5-10 minutes, often it blows off and you can get a good crisp view for a few minutes before the next cloud moves in. And when you do get that clear moment, that's the time to whip out the camera and take some pics so you can put it on Instagram like everybody else. Okay, we've come to the end of our tour of Table Mountain. Neil's been here, this is your second time, correct?
Twice.
Yeah, was it better this time or last time?
Yeah, it's just different.
Different. Clouds both times?
It's different. Clouds both times.
Yeah.
But this is 20 minutes from sunset.
Yeah,
so it's
sunset is going to be beautiful.
Nice now.
But the last gondola is 6 p.m. they say.
6 p.m. So we have a short while.
Short while. So we may not see the sunset. It's still a bit above the sky. What do you think, Steve? How was your experience?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really very hard to capture in a photograph or video, but just being here, the feel of it, of course the height is incredible.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Well worth doing if you're in Cape Town. Sunset, I don't know if we're going to make it. It looks like we've got at least an hour left. And we've got, what, 15 minutes before the last gondola?
Did you show them Robben Island where they locked up the
Is it on this side?
protesters against it?
Oh, it's over here.
It's over here.
Yeah, that was like their version of Alcatraz. That's Robben Island. Now, keep in mind it is wintertime, and as the sun goes down, it gets cold fast. The last gondola down is supposedly 6 p.m., but it takes so long to get everybody in that it's pretty much dark by the time you're coming down, so it can get chilly. Yeah, and by the time you're at the bottom, let's just face it, it's dark. Again, it is a must-do, so don't even fight the urge. Just do it. Hopefully you enjoyed everything about this episode, telling you what we did in Cape Town, what we would definitely say was worth it, which was pretty much everything we did. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Obviously, subscribe to the channel because some exciting stuff is coming up. The very next episode, we're going to do our first test sail on the Exquisite X5 with a parasail for the first time. Something I've never flown on any boat. So yeah, that should be interesting, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.